Let's go for it!
Hey everybody, welcome to the newest video here at The Dark Stuff. My name is Dave. I'm the host here at the channel, and I've got another great one for you today. This time, I think I should really start a new series and call it like Dave Meets His Childhood Heroes, because this is the third time in like a 2-month period where I've met one of my all-time musical idols and got to spend time with them, get my picture taken with them, get some stuff signed, hang out a little bit. We know about the Tommy Stinson experience from The Replacements. Then next up, a couple weeks later, was Ace Frehley from Kiss. And now I had McCaughan from Superchunk, and I got to hang out with him yesterday. Now, Superchunk is one of these bands that I've been listening to since day one, since probably about 90, maybe late 90 into early 91. I don't know exactly when I got into them to begin with. But they've been a band that I have loved since day one. I still love them now. I've seen them probably 8 or 9 times over the years, in the 25 plus years that they've been a band. And I think I have every record they've ever made. My collection of Superchunk is pretty massive. I also collect Mac's side project, which is called Portastatic. And John Worster, the drummer of Superchunk, frequently plays with Bob Mould. He's been Bob Mould's drummer for like 5 years. He plays with the Mountain Goats. He does some other gigs, and I've seen him in doing those things. But last night, Mac was doing a solo show, and he was the opening act for Destroyer, doing a solo performance, and it was at a tiny little place called the Reverb Lounge here in Omaha. Reverb holds maximum like maybe 100, 120 people if you really wedged him in there. So I was super amped, so I get down there pretty early, and I brought a couple of records. I didn't know if like Mac was flying in and he wouldn't have any merchandise or what was going to be there, so I figured, you know what, this is a small place. The chances are about 99% that I'm going to get to meet Mac, so I'll bring a couple of records, and then maybe I can buy something off him at the show. So let's describe the show really quickly. Mac did about 45 minutes or so, maybe a little bit less. I'm not sure. I wasn't keeping time. The set was about 50 to 60% Superchunk songs, and then other songs off of his solo record, which is called Non-Believers, which is this, came out about 2 years ago, I want to say. 2015, so just last year. I mentioned that he has this project, Portastatic, which to me is basically like Mac solo, but there may be some differences that Mac would care to explain that I just am not necessarily picking up on. But either way, he's recording under his own name. He's touring under his own name. He was doing a small tour as support for Destroyer. Destroyer releases their records on Merge Records. That's the label that he owns. That's where Superchunk came out with. So the set was great. It was not sold out or anything, so it was really easy to move around. I got right up close. So after the show, I bought a copy of this record called Staring at Your Hologram from Mac. Now what this is I didn't know what it was. I'd never seen it before. It's limited to 500 copies. I have number 20 of 500. It is remixes and sort of, they're calling it deconstructions of songs from this record. And it's on this limited edition thing. And like I figured, I put about a 99% certainty that I would probably be meeting Mac, and I did. And I asked him to sign some records. He was super cool about it. And so in this one, he signed Dave, We'll Always Have Madison, Mac. And the rationale behind that is I told him a story about the first time I saw Superchunk, which has been 90 or 91, when I was going to college in Madison, Wisconsin. And Superchunk came through, and I went to see them, and I was one of about 4 or 5, maybe 6 people total at the show. There's a notorious scene guy in Madison named Marco Pogo. If you're from Madison, Wisconsin, and you've been to a good indie rock show in the last 25 years, you've probably seen Marco Pogo. He's a very rail-thin guy, wears, he had, well, I don't know, I haven't seen him in 15 years, but back then, he had a beard, he was very skinny, he would pogo up and down the entirety of a show. If a band plays 90 minutes, he's pogoing 90 minutes. He sweats through multiple shirts, he changes shirts in the middle of the show. He was there, I was there, 2, 3 other people were there, and that was it. So we talked about that show. He remembered playing at OK's. We talked about another Milwaukee show that I saw, or I'm sorry, another Superchunk show where I said, hey man, and also in addition to Superchunk being fucking awesome, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to see The Wedding Present, because I'd never seen them before or since. A great UK band that toured as support for Superchunk in about 94 or so. We were talking about the show at Marquette University in Milwaukee, which was in their cafeteria. And we couldn't remember the year, and he thought it was either 93 or 94. Mac, if you ever see this video, it was 94, because I lived in Seattle in 93, so I couldn't have been there for that. So it had to have been 94, so it was on the Foolish tour, and it was just great. So again, another big dream of mine. I've been listening to Superchunk for over 25 years. I love every record that they've put out. I mean, barely a song that I don't like in the entire Superchunk catalog. I think the solo record is great. This concert last night was just so fun. And then at the end, like I said, I got a couple more records signed. So he signed my Cool 7-inch from Superchunk. This is the first thing I ever bought from the band. I remember Laura Balance, the bass player, in the merch booth, at the merch booth selling these. And of course, every guy in his early 20s back then had a big crush on Laura because she was like super cute and everything, and a great rocker in the band and everything. And so everybody had a crush on her. So just the fact that, we had a conversation with Laura, like that was like a big fucking deal. Anyways, so I remember that because she sold me this record personally. I got this one here, which was a solo 7-inch from Mac for his song Box Batteries that came out on the solo album with a song called Whatever Light on the back. He signed it in silver. You can see his signature there, and he put, where is it? Oh, Dave, right there with a bunch of extra A's. Again, I don't know how visible that is to see, but... And then I had one more thing that I asked him to sign, and that was this one here. This is a Portastatic single, by the way, from 1994. And he signed it for, Lo-Fi Dave and then Mac there.
Still have briars in my clothes. Did I lay you down in those? The names on the stones were all erased, and I thought
So after the show, most of the audience went in and watched Destroyer. But I, like I said, Destroyer's cool, but I was really so focused on Mac, and we were sitting there having a conversation with him, me, my brother, and some of the other people that were working in the club. I didn't really want to leave. I was enjoying having this moment with Mac, you know. So then I started looking through some of the other merch, and I realized there was some Portastatic stuff that I didn't have, namely this, which is a music called Looking for Leonard by Portastatic. And Max said that it was a soundtrack that he wrote and scored and wrote the music for, and I'd never seen it. And this is a Japanese version where there's the Obi strip and everything. And it was only $10, so I was like, there, I just dropped it. It was only $10, so I figured, you know, why not? I mean, it's a Portastatic thing I don't have, and I wanted to get it, so I ended up getting a lot of stuff at this show. Like I said, I mean, this was a really great event. This is like 3 months in a row of me getting to meet and spend some time with like my musical idols, you know. The Replacements, Kiss, and Superchunk are like part of my musical DNA. And everything that I listen to today is filtered through my views on those bands. And it's a reality. I'm just kind of coming to this realization now that almost everything I look at through a lens of how it compares to Kiss, Superchunk, The Replacements, because those are like the 3 most significant bands of my youth and into my adulthood. Superchunk more adulthood, Kiss and Replacements more sort of youth. And in an odd note, how's this for a coincidence? The debut Superchunk album, okay? Their self-titled album came out September 25th, 1990. That was also the release date of the final Replacements album, All Shook Down. Both released on the same day. I'm going to leave you with that little tidbit, folks, and another clip from the show. Again, Mac, man, that was so freaking great. If you're in Omaha and you missed that, you blew it, dudes. You really did. You blew it. You blew it if you missed that Tommy Stinson thing, and you double blew it if you missed this show from McCaughan. All right, everybody, take care.